Mother. Welcome back to Drive, Wrench, and Repeat, guys. You saw our initial videos, the review of the 135i, review of the M2 competition, and then the major kind of maintenance item, the braking, right? We replaced all the rotors, all the pads, and we really wanted this car to stop as well as it goes once we, up the boost a little bit and we get to that 400 wheel horsepower kind of mark. But before we get there, what did we say in that first video? Maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. And we weren't joking around about that. We want to address the top of the engine today. Join us, guys. We're going to start removing some of this stuff, and I'm going to put on some gloves. First thing you got to do when you're replacing the valve cover, and obviously we're tackling a lot of stuff today, but let's start with the valve cover itself. We want to, because there are some electrical related stuff, we want to disconnect the battery. And we're just going to really just unconnect the negative terminal here. Once that is off, just kind of like rest it. I'm gonna put this microfiber towel right here so it doesn't reconnect, but that should be fine. And also, I don't want this trunk to close. Guys, this, as you know, if you own a BMW of this era, it is electronically controlled. It'll lock, it'll close, but it won't reopen. So keeping that in mind, we will prop this open. There's no reason to go into the trunk, and we're not lifting the car today, so we can leave the trunk open for the time being, so because we got to reconnect the battery. If you do somehow shut this by accident, you need a jump pack or you need another power source for the front, and then you could electronically open the trunk. Okay, we're going to start by using this T20 to remove this part, and then we're going to remove the air intake here, and then we're going to remove a lot of stuff. So all right, and then this should kind of accordion out. You see these little tabs. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're gonna remove these guys. We're gonna disconnect some of this over here. Okay, let's put that out of the way. This actually twists right off, guys. Okay, it's just basically twist right off. Leave it to the side. And then we're going to be removing this because the valve cover extends all the way back. Okay, and then there's tabs. Okay. There's one more tab here. Okay. Okay. This is where obviously you guys saw the brake fluid reservoir, and then obviously some of the brake components that are in there. Okay, another 8mm bolt. Okay, now we're gonna remove the air filter. Obviously this is not a stock air filter that I have on here. It is a Berger Motorsports intake, a rewashable and oiled kind of filter element. Probably doesn't add any horsepower. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But the one good thing is that you hear the turbos when you have this. And I think when I go full bolt on, I might actually realize maybe a small horsepower, but the real horsepower is gonna come from the boost, the intercooler, and the downpipe. Screwdriver here. And it's a worm clamp, so you don't have to go nuts. Just enough to loosen it. And then, okay, there's a little push tab here. Just be careful, guys. This is all stuff, plastic stuff that's sitting inside of an hot engine compartment. And if you own these cars, you know how hot these cars get. So, okay, there we go, easy, right? And we need to get this guy off. And it looks like, okay, rubber, okay. And what else is it being held on by? Another rubber, okay. Make sure you hold that. And then we're gonna pop this guy off too. This is just a vanity cover. Okay, and then we got this little Christmas tree thing. Okay, get that out of the way. And then that should pop out. It's just being held on by one extra thing. Remember guys, be gentle, okay? It's probably a good time to kind of maybe wash this, but it's just being held on by these kind of rubber things, right? Going on the post of the intake manifold. Got my trusty Milwaukee. I'm gonna try to. Okay, now that is out of the way. All right, so we got this one off. I just put the bolt back in so I don't lose it. But we got to remove this top one. Now I'm gonna put the bolt back in here. Oh, don't lose that. Okay, we don't have to remove that one. It's kind of out of the way. But let's keep this to the side. Okay, now we're gonna start removing some of this component up here. Okay, and if you guys are a little bit questioning where this stuff goes, I mean, there's no other connector like this, so I'm gonna rest this to the side. But if you guys are worried, I would use a painter's tape, kind of like what we did here, right? Because we're gonna just kind of throw that to the side. But you know, this is only gonna go in one way. Be gentle. Okay, got that one. Okay, got these two. Okay. Okay, That should pop right out. Okay, now that's out of the way, just don't put any strain on these. I'm trying to be careful as possible not to even touch that because there's some important wires. This puppy should actually just pop out. Okay, there we go. Okay, now be careful taking this stuff off because there's two push tabs here, and the reason why we use two hands was to be extra careful not to damage this. Okay, 10mm bolts. You probably don't have to remove this, to be honest. I think it comes out with the valve cover, but I did. Okay, be gentle. Fine. Let's just point out the obvious here. Valve cover, oil cap, okay, that we got a new one of. And then these are your fuel lines, okay, and we're gonna have to remove this because they're going across the valve cover themselves, and this is held on by pressure. We're gonna put a towel under there when we do remove that. And then obviously your O2 sensors here. Okay, and these are kind of dummy proof. They're color coded on the inside. Okay, so you have this little guy, the little tab here, just push it up. And this is the black, right? Okay, white inside. Okay, white or yellow, whatever that color is, but it's kind of dummy proof. Okay, continuing on, removing all the stuff that's going across the valve cover. Here's another Christmas tree. We're gonna take a needle nose and just kind of gently walk it out. Okay. Yeah, that's gonna get a little mangled, but I think it'll go back in. Okay, we got that out of the way. Okay, now this is out of the way. We're gonna start unplugging some of the vacuum lines here, and then also the wastegate line. There's a little push tab. If you come over here, guys, there is a push tab right here, the metal tab right here. We're gonna just use our finger, push, and then pull out. There it is. Okay. Okay, that's on there. I just labeled it rear because this goes on the back. And then we're gonna position that right there, and then we gotta take this guy off. Okay, that's out. I kind of started with your hand first, and that's why the Milwaukee tool is so great. Okay, and grab that, and you have that. and this will be ready to lift off, but it's connected to all the coils, ground wires and whatnot. So we're gonna go ahead and release. Okay, release, 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 and we got to get this guy off. And the reason why we need to get this guy out of the way okay. We're gonna make sure, just kind of put this back in there the way it was. Okay. Okay, now we're gonna remove all the ground wires here. There's gonna be 3, 1, 2, and 3. And these are 8mm bolts, nuts, guys. 8. Okay. Now what we need to release are going to be these. This is actually for the fuel injector, and it's on this rail, right? So we need to remove that. What we're gonna use is a very small easy, right? And what we're looking at is just this little guy here, okay? There's gonna be a tab there. You just wanna kinda push it away and it should come right out, okay? Okay, and the last one, which is going to be a bit of a pain because it's all the way in the corner. Okay, now that that's all out of the way, I'm going to move this to the side. Easiest way to do this, guys, is to fit a tool, something like this, in here, and then just give it leverage and just pull out, okay? We're almost there. What we're gonna do is take off the fuel line. The first one, there's pressure. This is a high pressure system, and we wanna make sure to be as clean as possible. What we want to do is take a microfiber that you have and just kind of rest it underneath. It is fuel. I'm gonna let that, I think it's depressurized already. There's only a little bit of fuel that came out, and the crow's feet might be a little bit tough to fit in here. So what I'm doing is trying to position it. There we go. And make sure, you know, once this is off, guys, you wanna make sure that you're putting it in the same orientation as you took it off. Probably will be okay, but and that's not Florida, guys. That's front left, okay, left of the how you're facing it, but we're gonna put it exactly how we took it off. And we cut some fingers. We want to make sure nothing gets in there. So we're using as much precaution as possible. Just kind of sleeve these guys in there like so. If you made it this far, you know that you put a lot of work into removing this. If you went to the dealership or even an independent mechanic or shop to do this, they're gonna charge you an arm and a leg. Think about it. Think about how much money you saved on your own by wrenching. And these are really, really, really low torque settings. So they should not fight you. If they're fighting you, something's wrong. Okay, just leave it in there, guys, because when we lift it out, just like the new gasket, okay, that's good. Whew, it's a bear. We're getting there. If you have one of these tools, guys, it's a flexible head, very thin. I'm gonna take this off. Just do it by hand here. The back ones are gonna be the toughest. Don't give up on this. Like I said, they're really, really low torque settings. So just crack them and then just do it by hand. And just keep going. Make sure they're off. Okay. Okay. Okay, now all the bolts are off. Make sure, double, triple check that all the bolts are loose, and then it should come off relatively easy. All right, there is the old valve cover, and that was a bit of a bear to take off. Now let's go fish out all the little pieces here, making sure that we don't get the grime stuff. Okay, I have to say this was either in decent condition, and I don't think there's any cracks in the valve cover. From the looks of it, it looks like it's in pretty good condition, but we're already here. Can you slide it in there, Daniel? No? Is it in? Mother. Remember guys, we're not actually looking to tighten these all the way. We're just working them in. Make sure it's on tighten mode. And I'm gonna do the back one by hand, just because I know how much of a pain that's gonna be. The one back here. All right guys, the torque settings is going to be 6 foot-pounds. We're going to start from the center and kind of go around. And like I said, you're going to have to go by feel on the last one. on the corners back here. I'm gonna go with the rearmost ones here. I'm just gonna thread these on by hand. All right guys, and then we're gonna, you can't put a torque wrench on here, so just don't go gorilla tight. They are fuel lines after all. You don't want it to leak, but you don't want it to strip. Just a couple of mental notes, guys. New valve cover, even if it's a genuine BMW part, it will not have these nipples here. And who doesn't like nipples? And we need these nipples back on the valve cover. There's going to be 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and this is so that the cover that goes on top, so all the wires are going to be routed to the top of that. You're going to need that. So it's just a basic push tab. So that's why you're going to need it. Just use a 14 millimeter to take it off. It's a self-tapping kind of screw. So that's why you want to take your time to kind of screw these back on. You don't want it to be, you know, kind of cockeyed. Important note, don't go too crazy with it. This is kind of a blind hole, meaning that it doesn't screw into the galleyways of the valve cover. So that's a good thing. You can't really screw it up, but just take your time doing that.